How are you boys doing today?
Yeah.
I didn't see any good
We're all over here.
This is Alcoholics Anonymous, right?
Tell us why you're here.
Paul's here. We sure thank you.
One time I'm the biggest alcoholic in the room.
What?
So our topic today is music and the internet. I drew some zeros and ones, and that's I did a musical note. I think we should start off with a couple introductions. So why don't you start first?
Hi. I'm Todd the Shadows, or just Todd.
What's up, Just Todd?
I review music on the internet.
Heart soul.
This is Paul. Paul, introduce yourself.
Hi.
Hello.
What's up?
My name is Paul, aka Paul Dugan, aka E. Diddy. I do music reviews on the internet, that guy with glasses, as well as my esteemed colleague, Shadow Todd, over here. Right now I'm doing a series called Music Movies, which touches on musicals of past and present. I got that kind of reaction. Anyway, that's me. To my left.
I am Skripnik. I make eccentric electronic music and troll people on the internet.
It's an important role. And my name is Daniel Cannon. Myself and Skripnik, we performed last night.
Who was there? Come on.
All right. Did you have a good time? I make music on Nintendo Game Boys, and I do eccentric guitar solos over the top. But I also do video game remixes with my bands Arm Cannon and Metroid Metal. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not. Woo! Okay, that guy. But essentially, what we have here is two musicians who release music on the internet.
And two people who critique the shit out of it.
So what do you think of it?
Wait till you make something like that.
I'm never gonna.
Because you have so much hell to pay. So, what are we going to talk about today, here, boys?
Round one fight.
Yeah, we're just going to battle each other because I'm angry at you for not enjoying my masturbatory Lydian solos for 10 minutes. So.
I'm still trying to wrap my head. You're happy at masturbation.
So, what do you guys review on the internet? Like, it's more specifically, you say you do musicals?
Yeah, right now I'm doing the whole musical scene, just because it's sort of my own personal education, because I didn't grow up on music. So this is my way of kind of educating myself and then passing the education on to these fine folks.
I review mostly top 40 chart pop. I'm sure you love that stuff.
Sounds important.
That show's amazing.
It's really an unfulfilled role.
Yeah.
Someone has to listen to Train, right?
No.
We apologize for Justin Bieber.
We're so sorry.
I'll apologize for Justin Bieber the day he apologizes for Cash App.
I'm sorry, was I talking? Actually, I don't know what I was talking about.
I think that was the gist of it.
Yeah.
Top 40?
Yeah. And sometimes older stuff.
So you like, you re-review like old Britney Spears hits?
No, like 80 stuff.
Okay. You reintroduce classics to people who may not have heard.
Yeah, like I just put up an episode just now on Dexy's Midnight Runners. Everyone only knows him for one song, but
One hit,
I gave their entire career.
More of a Tiffany guy, but yeah, that's just me.
No, they were actually a very important, legit band. You believe this.
I'm actually more curious about like what you guys do.
Yeah.
Because especially because I dabbled in sort of doing the whole musicianship on the internet and then failed, and then those who can't do teach.
Right.
The proliferation of like new music on the internet, because that's how I find everything nowadays. It's either Pandora and recommendations, then you go to YouTube, look for songs, and then from there you go to Amazon, go to websites and buy it. But like, how do you sort of build like your own band online and then sort of grow the way that you guys have?
All right, so that's the really difficult part. That's like the question, like how do you get past posting your song on some stupid internet forum where you don't know anybody and having nobody actually even listen to it or comment on it?
Right.
That's the big mystery, and I don't have a great answer for that. The answer is to be really good.
It helps.
Yeah, so when you're good and somebody's like, wow, it turns out that the best way to get people into your stuff is word of mouth. And I'm sure you guys don't like just check out bands every day. You don't go like, I'm just gonna find like some new alternative stuff. But if a friend of yours posts a link on Facebook like, oh, this song is the jam, that's an opinion that you trust. And when I'm promoting my stuff to you, you're like, well, his self-interest is to like promote himself. So you're not gonna trust me as much as you're gonna trust like a third party who's like, check this out, it's sweet. So the point is, promoting sucks, and
You spread it to your friends and let your friends spread it to their friends.
right. And when you have something that's really, really something, like people will talk about it. Like people love to share things. The whole Facebook, Twitter thing, like every single link, every single site that I use is designed to be able to share with your friends and hyperlink it to people, because nobody has original thoughts anymore. We just share things that have thoughts that we
We're
wish we
speaking
had.
quotes now.
Yeah, like we just share images, from I don't know, what are those like e-cards?
Yeah.
Things that we wish we said that were clever. And it's kind of like that with music too. If you make your stuff really easy to access, which a lot of awesome sites have, like really easy to link to, then that makes it for the user easy to spread it somewhere. And one big thing is if it's difficult to find your music somewhere, like people have an attention span of like that. And if it takes somebody like more than a quarter of a second to actually check out your stuff, if they like click on a link and it's dead, they're not gonna go look for something. Or even if the site you're using is like down for half an hour. You really have to capitalize on every moment. And so that's really tough. It's extremely tough. And it's only after, years of really putting in, playing events like this and doing stuff with multiple bands of mine that I've been able to kind of break past that that barrier of like, oh, it's safe to check this guy out, and they actually have a buzz going above my own self-promotion of other people telling people to check my stuff out. And where do I want to go with this? Let's wrap this up.
Well, if I can ask, now everyone knows YouTube is a terrible, terrible place to try and promote original music. You go to YouTube, you want to find covers or parodies or stuff like that. That's what gets big hits on YouTube. Original music has had a hard time getting.
That's not the right market for it.
Yeah. Are you on YouTube or?
I do some YouTube stuff because I do some things like I'll remix a song and then I'll videotape myself playing along with it, and those tend to go pretty well because people like to see what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing some like guitar gymnastics or whatever, if they see me doing it, they're like, oh, this guy's pretty good. I also do some tutorials and stuff because I use a complicated Game Boy software called LSDJ, and it's like this mystical hex code that magically music comes out. And I've done some tutorials with that, and I've had some luck. But my album, and this is something I'm going to talk about a little bit, is I put it all on YouTube because when you go to look up any song, where do you go look? You go look up on YouTube, because for some reason looking in video for audio is the least efficient way to ever get that sort of data of all time. But if you're going to go look for a Grateful Dead song, bad example, but whatever, you're going to type into YouTube like Grateful Dead, blah, blah, blah song. And do you guys do that? Do you guys search for music just when you want to hear a random song? So I put my music on YouTube just for ease of finding and being able to link to people, because it's so easy to embed and stream a YouTube video. Their site's pretty reliable. And I don't know. Some of the other sites are more obscure than YouTube. I don't know that I use, It's really all about making your stuff as easy to find for people as possible. And it's exposure, it's hits. You know, my stuff comes up with related videos to other artists that people might like. So I don't know. There's no one thing. Like, are you associated with any sites? Like, are there sites that like rebroadcast you guys' material?
People put our stuff up on YouTube. Yeah, we're on a different video site called Blip.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're contracted with a site called Channel Awesome, also known as thatguywithglasses.com, and they host our videos, and we have a cool talent. We leech off each other and steal their fans.
So like, you guys are almost like a record label for.
Yeah, that's a good way to
for
put
your
it.
videos. Like what happens is you get this air of credibility to your videos because you're on that channel and people go and check it out.
Right.
And that's kind of what I need to do.
I was actually just about to ask.
We're not hiring.
Right, and that's why.
I was actually just about to ask, have you ever considered doing the Channel Awesome thing for musical people? Take a site
Internet
and
music like labels must exist, like in great quantity.
I'm on an internet net label. It's called Ubiquitune. It's focused towards lanky progressive music on chiptunes, and it's really awesome. Actually, every record out on there, I'm a huge fan of. And they have been partnering with a lot of sites. There's like indie music bundles that they're doing stuff with. I've had my stuff on indieroyale.com through Ubiquitune, and they're again a label. When you're part of it, gives you this air of credibility, so people can check your stuff out and be like, oh, I like stuff on this label. Like, when you find something on a record label that you know, like Capitol Records or something, that is credibility. This band's good enough to check out. Whereas a Joe local band, you don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
what was it called again?
Ubiquitune. It's
Ubiquitune.
Yeah, it's UBIK.
That's actually what I really like about like the internet record labels, because there are so many, they can be so specific as to like a genre or a type, that if you find one artist that you like on a specific label, you can go through the entire catalog of people on that label and still like I like all of this.
Right.
Yeah, what label's your movie on, Paul?
I don't think he's actually on a label. I think he's pretty much just completely independent. I think he goes through Bandcamp.
I love Bandcamp.
Yeah, Bandcamp and iTunes are his bread and butter.
Do you guys use? Well, I'm going to let you guys ask your question first.
How much support do these internet labels give you guys? Like, do they do promo? Do they do tour support, anything like that?
No, not at all.
It's just a co-located place. It's like you hope someone likes the other band, they'll like you.
Yeah, again, it gives you a little bit of credibility. I do get a little bit of promotion from them, but they have no financial backing. There's, and actually, the real music business, I know plenty of people who are signed to, bigger indie record labels.
It's the same thing.
And they get money from them, but they have to pay all that money back. And it's really all a huge scheme. In fact, I know. Do you guys know who Daniel Tidwell is? He's a YouTube guy. Okay, so Daniel Tidwell, I was talking with him at a convention a couple months ago, and he was on a standard record label, and he was in some metalcore band, and they were, they went on tours and stuff like that, and they ended up being about like $5,000 in debt and had to break up because like they had made no money, even though that they were playing packed shows and stuff like that. The way that the industry is set up through the record labels, they make tons of money off of you, and then you don't make anything. Meanwhile, through his YouTube channel, just playing video game covers on YouTube, he's made like 100,000 times more than he's ever made on his record label deal, which is kind of interesting because the internet allows independent artists to really, if they're talented enough to really take control of their own careers.
Sorry, I have a question because you brought up he plays video game covers on his YouTube page. Wouldn't YouTube say that that's third-party content and remove it from their website?
They should.
But they don't.
No, they don't. And actually, the big difference is between sampling recordings and also your own performances. So he owns his own recordings, but he doesn't own the licenses to those songs. And actually, old video game music is literally impossible to license because it's not released under ASCAP and BMI or SCAP or whatever it's called. And in fact, when you try to go through agencies and try to license video game music, because I've tried to, it's literally impossible because it's not a format that they recognize as being actual music, unless it has been released on CD, which sometimes happens in Japan, you know, with some specialty stuff. But a lot of the old stuff is literally impossible to license. So nobody has run into any issues with that really so far.
Well, actually, you can still get in some pretty, not trouble, but I mean, you know, with YouTube's new sort of content-aware system, if you put up a song, it'll recognize it and say, oh, okay, well, this means that a chunk of this money goes over here. But a buddy of mine, Rental Floss, does exactly the same type of thing.
Yes.
But he'll do his own orchestrations of it and then put his own lyrics to it, and then out on the internet it goes. But he still has to fight with, you know, Nintendo. He has to fight with Sony. You know, almost, you know, on a weekly basis, saying, no, it's okay. I'm not stealing. It's a cover. It's you know, imitations, sincere form of flattery, and all that. So yeah, even for that sort of unique type of performance, you still got to watch your back.
Yeah. What's up?
No, if you finish your thought, I have another question.
Oh yeah,
My thoughts are very brief.
The video game music scene is on very murky legal ground. Like there's people trying to license stuff and they have not had any luck doing it legally. And so there's plenty of bands who are becoming more and more successful. It's not just tiddlywink bullshit anymore. And I don't know, it's kind of trying to figure out where it is in the world right now. But like Mega Ran, he played last night with us. He had to leave to go play in Ithaca, but he was contacted by Capcom in particular, and Capcom was like, "We like what you're doing. We will hook you up with like all the licenses, and we'll just make you officially part of Capcom." But he's like the only person that's ever happened to ever.
Well, something very similar happened to Pogo on the online, who does all the
Okay, I
remixes. He does all the remixes of, you know, Disney tunes, Pixar, and the like. And after getting in trouble a lot, Pixar actually, you know, basically gave him a contract. Said, "Look, all right, you make music for us for about a year now. It belongs to us. We'll give you some money, but after that, you can do whatever you want." So yeah, Pixar basically put him on retainer.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a rare success story.
That's the Disney Fresh Prince remix.
Yes.
Maria's loud. A little bit.
On kind of the same note, what do you guys feel about mashups? Do you think it's just someone taking two or more songs and kind of taking credit or potentially money off of someone else's creation, or do you think it's a transformative work and it becomes a piece of art like itself?
Go ahead.
I say depending on how they mash it up, it is or it's not. If you just really take that sample and it and don't really add anything to it, then I kind of agree you're just taking something else to work with your whole But if you slice it up, if you really get creative and mash it up, then I think by all means it's your whole work for sure, right?
There's definitely some shit barely qualifying mashups out there.
Legally, not so much, but the entire hip hop culture, especially in the late 80s and 90s, built on sampling old funk records and transforming it into new art. And so that's kind of, it's had a, there is some precedent for that being, you know, a legitimate art form.
But then the record labels shut that down.
Yeah.
Kind of, we have to
They
license every
try to.
single tiny little bit now, and if they say
Or the
no,
Vanilla Ice principle.
Yeah.
Like, are you familiar with the well, never officially released, but American Edit, where it was a couple of different mashup artists remade American Idiot, but they sampled like dozens of different things, created, and everyone did a different track and did a different spin on it. And of course, it was blocked by the record label, despite the band themselves having a problem with it. Would you think in a case like that, like not speaking in a legal sense, but from an artistic sense, do you think something like that is a legitimate matter?
Profitable.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of these people make these tribute records and stuff like that, and they're totally cool and totally artistic. They probably should be releasing them for free, and not making it.
I did the same, because that place to make music, I put out a couple of EPs like on Last FM, because most of them were, they were small samples, mostly loop samples for electronic music, but it made me feel so clear that I decided to go out and charge for it, so it was always free, so I never paid a dime. It's okay to do it just for the art, not getting us to do it for it, especially other band members.
Yeah, the best example that I can think of is a guy named DJ Or.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's been doing amazing based off of that, he's got enough popularity that he's a huge in-demand DJ, and YouTube has hired him to make up mashups, concert.
That's what it actually should be. It's almost like an online portfolio.
Yeah.
So you're not going to charge for it. It's like, here's what I can do. You watch me get better here, 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 here. Yeah, it's like building a resume.
Right.
Speaking of YouTube and Lit, somewhat unrelated, the money you get from the ads, like, is that from only when people click, or is that every ad that plays? Like, I seem to make a little bit of money off those.
There's what they call views and what they call impressions or something like that. It's like, if the ad sort of plays and they know there's two eyes watching, it's like, okay, well, here's 10 cents. But if someone clicks on it, it's like, oh, wow, here's 11 cents. So thus begins the great profitability cycle of internet.
If only we got 10 cents of YouTube. What's up? Yes.
So back to just the moving off of YouTube, Todd, I was watching some of your YouTube stuff, and then you got picked up by that guy. Was it that YouTube was shutting you down? You were looking out, and you found them, or they found you, or how did that work?
I started specifically looking on channel loss. But but even if I never heard of them, they contacted me out of nowhere, I definitely would have taken that deal, because YouTube is a great place to get started. It's a wonderful place to get started. If you have an established fan base, they'll get the fuck off. YouTube is a very gigantic, impersonal place. You cannot get in contact with anybody there. You can't. If they say your stuff is, they want to take it down, you basically have no way to stop them, even if you are totally right. And getting in contact with anybody there is a miserable failure of trial. So it's,
Actually, I think the Odyssey kind of put it best when you got yanked off YouTube, that hooked up to provide this game is like, being on YouTube is kind of like putting your message into a bottle until you see it nothing but other people's message bottles.
Yeah.
And waiting for someone on their gigantic boat made of money to come pick one up. So that's all. It's basically just sort of a place to sort of float around until some rich record label is like, let's do this one. Right. So, I feel that.
I actually have a question for you guys. Are you guys familiar with the website Banking?
Yes.
Yes. Who isn't?
You are now.
Okay. So, true. As a musician, like, that site has been very challenging for me of what I can do and accomplish online. And what it is kind of an iTunes alternative for indie bands. What it does for the artist is it allows us to, use us, it's not like iTunes, except we don't have to go through a third-party service, pay them money, and then wait 3 months for our stuff to be approved, and then go up there. We can instantly put our stuff up there and get a much better profit share. I get 85 cents out of every dollar, which is really awesome, because it's better than I make on actual physical CDs than the rest myself. And for the user, it also is amazing because it allows you to pick any format that you want. If you guys are like, I seriously know an OGG Vorbis for, and like, nobody uses that, but he is obsessed with it. And it also has options for FLAC if you're like, I need lossless, people need lossless apparently. And it allows me to include things like secret tracks, I insert videos, like I have a live video with my album when it's downloaded down there. Also, I make music on Game Boy, so I have my save files, so people, when they download my album, they can open up my files and see how I programmed everything in there. And so it's a really cool site where I can make a lot of money, and it's really good for the user. It also has amazing analytics, and it's really changed how I can survive as a musician online. It allows me to actually be profitable.
One little thing that I like is the fact that you can pretty much listen to like any music on the site that the artist has put on there.
That's
a
true.
game for me. I haven't bought any music on there yet, but still, it's really nice to be able to like, if I'm doing some work and I can like throw up the Minecraft soundtrack and listen to that.
Right, and that's kind of the new way that people stream music. Is all of my music is up on Bandcamp to stream for free. You can stream the shit out of it, listen to it 1,000 times a day, and never buy it. And I love the idea that you can listen to it whenever you want. If you want to take it home, you know, you can either use some shitty ripping technique or something and steal it. But, like, people will always find a way around it. But I love the idea of, you know, being able to show people the full horse. You ever, like, buy a CD back in the day, bring it home, and there's that one song you like and the rest of it is garbage? Yeah. So it forces me to actually put out a good album now. But I like that. I like the full disclosure of it. And it's a really good website. And also I find that since a lot of indie bands use it, people want to pay for it. And I can set it up so people can give me more money than my album costs. I can set it up so you can donate money if you want. You can give me $40 if you think I'm amazing. And so it's a really awesome website, and I definitely recommend you guys check it out. And if you see any bands posting any Bandcamp stuff, like if they have an option for iTunes and Bandcamp, definitely check out the Bandcamp one. That's my fucking soapbox right there. I'm a whore for that stuff.
It's definitely a lot better for the indie artists.
I will talk about another site. Do any of you guys use Spotify?
Yep.
No, Spotify will kill the internet music industry as we know it if you guys turn to that as the way you guys listen to music. Spotify essentially is taking all of the control that we have as artists on the internet independently, with you guys being able to like choose what you want to listen to, when you want to listen to it, and supporting who you want to support. It turns it back into the payola form of radio, where the record labels, they choose when you get to listen to. I have to pay a service to get onto Spotify, and then I'm supposed to actually receive royalties when my songs are played on Spotify, because that's the law now. They made it so when your music is played on internet radio, you're supposed to receive royalties for it.
Oh, so they can't legally steal anymore now?
Yes. However, Spotify has made it so that the record labels receive like 98% of those royalties, and I receive like less than that actually after administrative costs. So you would have to play my song, I don't know, 10,000 times for the next year for me to get $1.50. And I'm not like, that isn't really hyperbole. That's actually close to the actual figures. And so if you guys make Spotify the way that you guys listen to songs, because I'm gonna face it, that is a really awesome, convenient way for you guys to listen to whatever you want to listen to. Like they made it really convenient and great, but it's absolutely dog shit for the artists. So don't use it.
You can't use it because
You
we're
can't
Canada.
use it to go to the
I
artist
just think
and do a
that
song.
Pandora actually runs in the same way, and Pandora like that, just stick it in and break it off with Spotify.
I did research on it a long time ago. Pandora is better, and I don't remember exactly the specifics of it.
Because I love Pandora, I really don't want to feel guilty.
Yeah, no, Pandora is good, Spotify is bad. But that's the take-home message.
From what I can see, profiting for artists on the internet, these Bandcamp is where you put up your music that you bought, and the artist gets it downloaded.
Right.
It kind of kills the profiting, because once it's downloaded, they can upload it to a website. Other people can download it for free, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
so,
true.
well, that's
But
true,
you might get new fans. You might buy my merch and shit.
It is kind of a cost-benefit analysis, because, you know, it's the same, like you were saying, for everything. It's like for movies, for reviews, for music, for whatever. Exactly, but even if your stuff kind of goes out there and it's being pirated just a little bit, that just means still more people are being exposed to your things. Like, okay, I like this, I think I'll actually support it.
And as opposed to before the internet, where if you had to leave your bucks.
Yeah, people just didn't hear you.
Yeah.
The only way that people did it back in the day is, and get this, they would dub it on the cassette tapes and trade mixtapes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
But
that
yeah,
was
that's,
some people here know what cassette tapes are.
yeah.
But you know, that sort of culture of trading music, you know, I had mixtapes when I was a kid, I didn't pay for months on it. You know, and but they're artists that I still love, you know what I mean? And I'd like to find a way to support them in a different way. And sometimes exposure is better than like making it out.
Yeah, right now, small people are doing it much better than big names.
Yeah, I feel like exposure is a much bigger problem to get over. So as long as people can hear your stuff, then you can really, I don't know, succeed in the music industry. You know, there's a lot of really talented people out there.
Now, it might just be my own sort of like hipsterish philosophy, but I feel like when it comes to like indie labels and putting your stuff out there for free and profiteering and all that kind of thing, it kind of keeps things a little bit more, I don't say real, but a little bit more fair to the original artistic vision, perhaps. You know, just sort of putting it out there, you know, art for the sake of art, music for the sake of music. You know, profits be damned. Right. I guess it is a lot different for those who actually do this for art.
Yeah. I mean, I started out as a hobbyist, you know, like I just made music, I made remixes of songs, and I got good eventually. Like I was not very good. And over the course of years, just making music with my friends, I got much better at it. And then at some point, I became an advanced hobbyist, where like I started getting invited out to events and stuff like that. All of a sudden, they wanted to pay me money for it, and I was like, maybe I could try to make a living out of this. And then the great part is then I would go to work, and I can have more time to make more music.
Right. And if anyone's interested in getting into this, anything on the internet, really, it is a hobby. It is a hobby first and foremost. Do not go in there expecting to make your money back. You know, or
Absolutely.
If it happens, it happens. Good for you. You've done it. You made it. But it's not going to happen.
Just cast your ball out to the sea and see what happens.
What's up?
Go ahead.
Okay. A lot of music distribution and streaming tools are kind of stacked catch to me in some ways that everybody's trying to go to like Canada and find something that's not being pointed out. How does it do you have to be in building your audience to like figure out where they are and what tools where it says
That website, I use Bandcamp. Well, like you can use that on any site, but it also it has awesome analytics for me, so I can tell where every single link that came to it came from, and I can also see where their IP address was, so I can also see where they're coming from. So if I randomly have a fan base in Saskatchewan, I don't know about it. But I don't know. Does that answer your question?
kind of this point? Bandcamp is a good example of something that really is globally reach.
Right. iTunes, I'm not super familiar with like the legality between jurisdictions with that, but I get people buying my stuff all the time through different countries and stuff.
Yeah. Depends on how they release. Release on the US or the Canadian.
Right. And I know that Bandcamp does like an auto conversion of like what I charge $10 for my album, it'll be like 6.2 pounds or I don't know. So everyone's paying the same amount too. I'm not sure about iTunes that much. I pay that thing.
Those necessary evils.
Yes.
Two questions, slightly related. One is, what do you think of pay what you can as, do you think that's a sustainable business model? Like I know Radiohead did a pay what you can album, but at the same time they're established. Or Jonathan Coulton put out a new album at $10 or whatever you can afford. I know some gaming sites will put out indie bundles for like a penny and whatever you want to put out. Do you think that's sustainable? And the other question, just since I thought of it, what do you think of Jonathan Coulton, if you're at all familiar with his stuff?
I've worked with Jonathan Coulton. We made a music video where I trashed the shit out of him. And then I got in trouble for it. So, go look it up. I will. No, it was really, it was magic. But I know it's kind of a new thing, so I'm not sure about the future of pay what you want for stuff. I know some people who've had really good success with it, and those are people who already have an installed fan base, you know. But that super fan you have, they're going to make it up for, you know, the 80 other fans that don't pay for it. They're going to give you $100 or something. So, I don't know. It's a cool way to release music, in my opinion. It's sort of like support the artist if you want. It sort of like puts the burden on you to like sustain the art form. And so I kind of like that idea of putting the burden off me as a salesman. Because I hate promoting my own stuff. I hate trying to sell things to people. I like making music. I don't want to be a businessman. So when I put that burden on you, like, yeah, you better support my art or else I won't survive. Yeah.
It's always obnoxious. I want it for free, damn it. You go.
Yeah. I think my favorite one is like if you I think Riff Tracks did it. But if you go to their site and it's like, well, if you illegally downloaded this, boy, you're hurting us. Now, if you just want to put a couple bucks in this jar over here, we'll slope this way. You know.
I think it's a cool new way to release music, and I hope it, I don't know, it gains some traction. I think it's good. Who wants to talk? This guy.
So, because you guys are more directly in contact with your fans, you don't have all those layers between you and them. Is it like a problem with people who think they own you, or they think they know you better than they actually do? And like, what kind of, how do you deal with that? That's like a problem.
I've been lucky that most of the people who know too much about me turn out to be pretty cool. Yeah, like there's a guy, he was here actually yesterday, and he came to the show in Buffalo. I live in Buffalo, and he lives in Bath, I don't know, somewhere west of here. And Kitchener, I think, actually. But he came to the show and he was telling me all these obscure things that I posted online, like years ago on this website that isn't even up anymore. And I was like, oh wow. And it turned out, he ended up being a really cool guy. He was just a fan, followed everything. And he's actually making a game based around my album, using my tracks as he cut them up. And I was, first when he told me about it, I was like, all right, buddy, go ahead. And it turns out he's really talented. It's really cool. He was sending me stuff and I was like, that's really good. Holy shit. Where's my money, bitch? Yeah. And so I think I've been lucky, but there's some great people out there. It happens.
I would answer this question, except I'm not a fan. Really, they might say hi, but I have yet to run across a person that's a fan or anything.
I work with pets for a reason.
Aren't you just trying to avoid team raising?
Well, it always does kind of. I do try to keep contact with fans, at least have some presence, but you have to also kind of keep some distance. Like, because, people who like your work that don't necessarily like you personally, don't know you.
It's actually one of the really cool things about Twitter, because like when you're growing up, it's like we're used to like movie stars and music artists being like these faraway, lofty things. But now Twitter is like, they must be in the same room because oh my god, I can like see their thoughts and interact with them. Some like fan mail that may or may not be read. It'll be right there on their feed.
Yeah, and it's great. It's great being able to contact people I like and stuff like that. It's great being able to contact my fans.
It still trips me out that not only that people like us are accessible, but that we can talk to. It's not fucking Barack tweets.
He said hi to me. He sent me many emails addressing me personally.
Don't shoot that. This is a picture. Should you wear the mask to protect yourself from the ongoing hatred of Team Breezy fans?
Yes. All right.
I wanted to ask, based on your videos, so for profitable videos that you have, is there anyone that you thought would never been profitable, but ended up being one that you did the best?
We try to make all of them like that.
Well,
Yeah.
You're kind of shocked where it's just, oh wow, this one actually went.
We're not as we both have kind of consistent views on it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we all have our sort of individual fan bases. We don't have lots of fans where, like, I think has there been like that sort of kill 'em app video that we thought, all right, this is the one that's going to make me.
Yeah.
I mean, try to.
I just wanted to get another video.
Imagine if that was the one that catapulted you to fame. It's the nutshot guy.
Just wondering if you have any opinion about like sort of the reality or idol shows. Is it bad and saturated market? Is it good because you look good by comparison?
Neutral. Those shows look like everybody would look like
Well, see, here's the thing. Those shows, as far as music goes, they're tremendously successful television. As musically, they've only managed to launch a few names in music world. Yeah. And now, you guys don't live in England where reality shows have taken over. Simon Cowell wants the entire record industry over there. But here it's not so big a deal. Like, the question you get asked, that's who's a television critic. That's where music goes in that.
It has created some monsters. It's like, what's that the latest boy band?
One Direction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like all those kids on the show, it's like, it's like, well, they all have sort of individual talent. What if we just put them in the same room? As like gold.
Yeah.
Or marketable.
Yeah, I guess they're starting to go to UK package shows now.
I think these shows are actually more geared towards making money for record producers than they are for entertaining people.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we capitalize off of this?
You got two things. Do you guys feel optimistic about the future of where music in open internet for Todd top 40 is heading? And who's your favorite artist?
Top 40 setting?
Well, Todd does top 40. Not
Well,
top
you know,
40.
the thing is about the internet is that it's actually influencing the top 40. Like, I heard a song the other day on the radio that had a chip tunes breakdown.
No.
What?
No.
Yes?
No.
It was full of
See, I get that question in interviews all the time. Like, did you tune the break in the mainstream? I'm like, wow.
And there's this one Chris Brown song that has like an intro that's basically the intro sounds like it's a Mega Man 3. So you see these things, you know, that's the way it is with every music trend. It comes from underground, it comes from nowhere.
I know what you're talking about. There's a Nelly Furtado song where Timbaland stole a chip tune from a Swedish
Oh yeah, that
artist.
was a big deal.
That was a very big deal. And then he's like, that's just game music, God, dang the thing. They're like, no, you just put a drum beat over someone else's song. That is not a mashup. Is there something else to that?
Favorite artist?
Oh, favorite artist. Me? I like obscure metal. I like this guy called Paul Morgan. He's a shredder guy.
Off the top of my head, I like obscure electronic music. I guess not next one.
I can beat that.
Yeah. If I've heard it, if I've heard it, it's not that obscure. I don't know shit.
Yeah. Shit is exactly what you know.
Yes.
Who do you guys have?
The favorite band was Control the City.
Yeah.
It's like, right now, I've been actually listening to a lot of Mike Doty lately. He was the former frontman for Soul Coughing. He's kind of gone on his indie career. Listen, bro, that's an awesome guy. Check him out.
I don't know, I dilettante everything, so like I'm not deep into anything. I probably should be. If I had to pick one favorite artist, it would probably be Ben Folds from the Electric Six. One of those two. I've listened to a lot.
What's your position on putting your song, let's say, on TV commercial?
Hey. Yeah, that's actually, I shouldn't be making original music and trying to sell it. I should be trying to get composing jobs for commercials, for jingles, and I've actually made more consistent money. I've been doing a bunch of iOS video game soundtracks. I've been making more money with that recently and more consistently than I have, selling my own music, because it turns out, that just pays you like a regular job. They give you a flat fee, and so yes, do more of that. That's what I want to do.
You notice that their internet figures will slow down considerably.
Yeah.
It's like, we're going to the Bahamas.
I know that there's some locations online that are blocked in Europe, for instance. Bandcamp is worldwide.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Because I have plenty of European friends who use it, so I can't imagine.
I've got an Australian friend that plays music too.
So, you guys, I don't know.
How do you feel about people paying just for one song rather than buying the entire album?
It seems like a really, I don't know, inefficient way to do. Like, I don't know. I had somebody buy one song the other day, and I was just like, oh, $1. I don't know. It was kind of disappointing in a way, and I almost wish I didn't get it. I don't know why. It just seems like, yeah.
Well, that's if you're talking from like the listeners' point of view, it's probably been a lot more helpful because that day you're kind of beholden to albums, especially if they're a CD or right. Who the fuck on CDs? No one on CDs.
I guess as an artist though, I like to release my stuff as like a whole work,
Right.
as opposed to a single song. So to me, it's a little disappointing.
But the internet has allowed the single artists and the album artists to separate again instead of, they're trying to get a whole album everything.
Right.
And filter stuff, right?
We got time for one more question there. Let's get the tie-dye back.
Okay, this is kind of counterpart to the favorite artist. Who's your least favorite artist, or someone you hate so much, like maybe because they have used like a system or whatever?
Chris Brown.
That's the obvious answer. I want to make sure that there's not someone else, just to be really, really, really obvious, I gotta go with Nickelback. Just because they got many worse bands, but like not someone who's so much bad music that I've had to hear. like just by sheer volume alone,
I don't think they're that bad. I think it's just that you're forced to listen to it more than anything else.
Yeah.
Sort of like Dave Matthews Band.
They're up there.
Yes.
I think that's, for me, I think it's pretty much anything that Fred Durst has ever had his hand in. Fucking back.
Chocolate starfish!
Keep
on rolling, baby!
Hey. Yeah, hold up. Get off the phone.
Top of my head, I changed the radio in an instant if I hear Sean Paul.
No, it actually sucks for cars, so they
I hate awful genre mixing. So, Broken Side. Literally, like, that's what you came up with? Yeah. And folklore in general is just like this thing where I just look at like a train wreck.
I thought it was a joke.
That was a gag. Also, just in general, auto-tuning.
Yeah. So that's what we hate. And
what a beautiful, perfect, upbeat number to end with.
yeah.